Welcome to CF 2.0 Geek Out, where we deep dive into ClickFunnels 2.0 and how to use it to grow your funnel building business.
Hey, I'm Susan.
And I'm Andrea.
Come along with us as we learn and discover how to use the new ClickFunnels and how to make it bend to our will. Hello, everybody. You're probably watching me play around with stuff while it's going live. Okay. All right. Let me double check the audio is working. Guys, if you're joining in, please let us know that you can hear us and everything's going well. It seems like there's always some sort of issue. So let's figure it out early on. We're excited though today. Andrea and I were just chatting and we were talking about okay, what can we give them while we're still waiting for 2.0 to come out?
I love the log
still waiting. Seriously, I was hoping we would have had this a week ago, but we don't.
So true.
But that's okay because what we want to talk about, yeah, you guys can hear us. Okay. What we're talking about today is going to help us prepare to get ready for 2.0. So it's actually probably a good thing that we don't have it yet, because I feel like as soon as, those of us that have gotten signed up and we're going to have access to it in the private beta, we're going to just get it and we're just going to start doing all the things, right? We're going to be put everything in there, make it all work. But Andrea and I were talking, it's we really should help people realize they should start planning right now ahead of time while they don't have it, so that they can go in with a strategy, because it is going to be different. Hello, Michael. Thanks for joining us. Okay. I'm going to be watching the chat as best that I can. So if you have questions or you want us to dive deeper into something that we're talking about, please let us know. And we will do that. So you're going to hang out with us for the next 25 minutes or so. And we're just going to give you guys some of our ideas of what we think we can all be doing right now to prepare for 2.0. So I think I will start with mine. Mine are pretty basic, and then Andrea's going to dive into something that'll get our brains thinking a little bit
basic,
deeper.
but so important. So
yeah. All important, all important. Okay, so let me see. Let me look at my notes. Okay, so we know that the structure, if you guys have been watching any of our videos so far, you will know, and if you haven't, go watch them after this one. But you will know that what we are assuming right now is that the structure of the membership areas are going to be different. We're not sure how much different yet, because the things that we've been showing you so far, we're not even sure that that's actually what we're getting. But we know that what we're used to in ClickFunnels 1.0 is, if you guys are familiar with a membership area, you log in, you've got the navigation down one side, and then your content is off to the other side or in the middle, and everything is all in one space. So you pretty much are there in one area, one room is what I like to think of it as, and there all the content's there, and it's pretty linear as far as you just click and you go to the next thing, you go to the next thing, you go to the next thing, and you're just, it's all housed right there. What we're thinking the new membership areas are going to be is we're going to be giving a lot more freedom on how we can organize and structure the content, as well as your different offers. So we're going to get more into that in a moment. But what I propose that everyone starts doing, myself included, is start looking at what you have happening in your funnels right now. What are all of your offers? What are all of your products? What are all of your opt-ins and lead magnets? What are all of these things that you currently have happening in your ClickFunnels account? And decide, do I need all of these? Are all of these actually supporting my business? Or are they, because if you guys are anything like me, you have, since starting your business, you have evolved. You have changed how you talk to people. You've maybe changed your offers a little bit. So if there are old things in your account that you're that's out there, but it's not really something that I actually use anymore. It's not bringing in the right people. It's not something that I want to provide anymore. Like, I would suggest that you start going through your different funnels and actually marking. And Andrea had a great idea of like, we have the ability to star them, like add them to our favorites in ClickFunnels right now. That you can go in and just star all the ones that you're like, okay, I know this is one that I want to keep. This is what it's still, adding value to my community and my business. This is something I want to keep. I know that a lot of people are talking right now about simple scales, complex fails. I forgot who exactly quoted that. It's somebody that I should know the name of. If you guys in the comments know, please put it in the comments. But if you have too much happening, then it's really hard to scale your business. So I also suggest you go and look at your value ladder. What is your value ladder looking like? Is there too much going on? Is it not a nice, like, clear path for your people of like, oh, if I want to work with Joe up here in his coaching offer, like, what's my path to get there if I'm not quite at that level yet? Or is it like, oh, this person's like doing a whole bunch of different things and I'm not really even sure what they do because they're offering so many different things. So just take a look at your value ladder, see if you can simplify anything. And then when the 2.0 is available to us, it's not like, I got to move everything over. You may find that you don't have to move everything over if you start simplifying, scaling back your offerings if they're no longer serving your business and your people. The other thing that I was realizing is I think I work with a lot of clients that are either creating branding. And when I say branding, I mean like colors and logos and that kind of branding for their business for the first time because they didn't get to it yet, which is great. It's not really that important to get to in the beginning when you're launching your business. So I'm either working with clients that are like just now getting to that, or they are in a place where they're like, I need new branding. I need to refresh my branding because I'm moving into this other phase of my business. And so what an amazing opportunity it would be to use this time of moving from 1.0 to 2.0 to update your branding, if that be something that you've been waiting on. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I really want to kind of refresh my branding, make it more, now make it more aligned with my message now and who I'm trying to attract, but they put it off because they're like, oh, but then I have to go and change it everywhere, like all over my presence on social media and funnels and websites and all the things. And it's a lot of work. But if you're already going to be like having to be in there and editing and moving things anyway, you might as well just do it now, right? Change up your branding. So if that's something you've been thinking about, that's something you could be preparing now, getting that all in order so that when you start moving things over to 2.0, you can have it all set. And what we're thinking, Andrea brought this idea to me earlier. We are thinking that it may even be better in 2.0, but in 1.0, you can do this too, where you can basically set, at least on a page level at this point, you can set kind of your branding. Like you can go into the funnel editor, the page editor, and go up to the settings and like set the fonts for the page and the colors. Yeah, you want to go ahead and share that? You have that up already.
Yeah.
I think it would be really, really cool in 2.0 if there was a way to like set that on a site level. Wouldn't that be so awesome, Andrea?
I think it is actually. I think
You
in
think
Russell's reveal, that's what it was. Yeah. So like being able to set your CSS with what we call a WYSIWYG editor, right? Instead of code. Like right now, it's the only thing they really give you, just like what you're just saying, Susan, is like at the best, I could do this, right? Background, topography.
Topography,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And color, which kind of doesn't even really work.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're being honest, like I don't know which one it is, but one of those font things doesn't even work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like how cool is it going to be able to just go and set it on a site level? And it's like, okay, everything that I ever create, like the default is going to be my brand colors. The default, well, you know that the universal sections are going to allow us to have like the default footer and all that kind of stuff. But that would be really, really cool, even if like you load in a template and where there would need to be a logo, like your logo is already there. Like, I don't know if that's how it's going to work, but wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be amazing. Well, and even right now, like it's not really clear. I mean, they say headline font and content font, but to anybody who's aware of how CSS works, right? We know that like when we go to add an element, right? These headline and subheadline, technically this is like an H1 element in CSS, right? And this is like an H2, this is a body, right? So it's like to somebody who doesn't know, hey, I want all of my font to be consistent. So anytime there's a header, it looks and feels like this. Anytime there's a subheader, it looks and feels like this. Like right now in 1.0, it doesn't really give us any way to, at least in like a WYSIWYG editor, right? Like we could use code, but to be able to do that. And I really do think in 2.0, not just at the funnel level, but at the, you know, across the funnel, across the site even, I think they're going to offer that ability for us to be more intentional with that CSS.
Yeah. And the reason why that's important is because it makes your brand look actual, like legitimate and credible. I used to talk about this all the time of like, how can you like get people's like first impressions, like when they land on your landing page, what's the first impression that they're getting? And it all has to do with design. If you guys are at all familiar with Catherine Jones, she talks about this all the time. But it's like, if they're landing on multiple things from you, or I even did a breakdown of someone's funnel once where like the first page was like super, super awesome. It was well designed. It had a certain color scheme. It had certain fonts. And then I bought the thing, and the second page, the upsell page, was not at all consistent with the first page. It was like different colors, different fonts. It looked like it was a template. I was like, wow, this doesn't make me want to buy the upsell, because now I'm questioning like your legitimacy and your credibility. Like this, it was a complete turn off. So like brand consistency matters. So I'm really excited that we all have this opportunity to do that.
Yeah. So if you're not working with somebody already, or if you're on your own, like the number one, I think, takeaway from what you're saying, Susan, which I think is so brilliant, is like, get yourself, in my language, I call it a brand identity guide, where it's your colors are clearly identified, your font is clearly identified. And then if you really want to go, I think take brand as like the intention of the experience is identified, but at a minimum, font and color needs to be identified so that you can easily plug and play that into 2.0 when it rolls out, because it is so much easier to plug that in before you start building, you know, so that you know exactly how it's going to play out in the design, then like transfer everything in and then have this weird, like, but I want it to be this, but the children elements, right, are doing this. And so like what trumps what, and it just gets to be a hot mess.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. So Andrea's got some really cool stuff to also talk about.
Well, I think it's right along. I mean, I think it was through our earlier discussion. So I think, you know, going to your point of the cleaning up of the offers and the products. So I think right now, when we make, you know, membership areas, let's say that it comes through a funnel and it's like a coaching program with a bump of a book and maybe an OTO of a one-on-one something other, right? Like this is a pretty common funnel, right? Especially when you're like selling a course. So right now, the products are the course, the book, and the coaching session. So then if you're, I think, a good designer, you would bring that into a membership area where all of those products are available through access control in the membership area. Okay, great. I think most of us would agree with that up to this point. But the problem is just like,
before you continue, sometimes people don't even do it that far, and like every single one of the like the main core offer and then all of like the upsells that are also digital products are all housed in their own membership areas. So if you were like that, also please pay attention.
Don't do that. But so, you know, and so then in order to kind of bring all of those in, the downside of bringing all of those into one membership area, well, let me say the plus side is that it's a single sign-on, right? For, again, this is like people who are not taking dance course, people don't know how to like manipulate the membership area, like the out of the box, you know, you maybe know a little bit, but you're pretty much out of the box. Okay. So like you want a single sign-on, you bring them into the membership area. And just like what you were saying, Susan, at the very beginning, is that they're in the same room, right? So it's like, think about, you're decorating this room, you're designing this room for an intended experience. But essentially you have 3 different products with 3 potentially different intended experiences. But yet they're all in the same room. So they all kind of have to have this unity of an experience, and you can't really customize it So what's the best possible experience with each of those offers
Yeah. Yeah.
versus now? Yeah, go
Can you
ahead.
give us an example? So like, let's say there's a core offer of like I'm selling a little like mini course or so, or let's go with big course, like $1,000 course. Like that's what I sold, but I have an upsell of like something that's supposed to accelerate their results, and it's maybe like a few almost that one's probably more like a little mini course almost. So it's like one experience is like a longer time frame, larger course, and then an upsell might be like some quick, like need to consume it, get some extra tools in that upsell. Not the same experiences. They go
Mhm.
together, but they're not really. I'm not going through them in the same way as the
Yeah.
other one. Is that, I don't know? Maybe you have a better example.
Yeah, here, I'm going to pull something up. Now, it's a little bit more of a like a basic membership area that I built a long time ago. But so the process of this was they chose the main course that they were going into. It was a health program. And then they got a book. And then they also had the opportunity to upgrade to like more of a one-on-one
Okay.
concierge type of service,
Yeah.
right? So, but again, because, and this was even before I took Dan's stuff and I really knew how to manipulate very much. So let me share my screen. And this is Dr. Chill. He used to be part of the 266 program. He's amazing. He has a great product. So like this is, so again, like I'm in a single room, right? So we have the days of the challenge that we went through, but then like this supplement dispensary was an entirely different experience. But because I'm in the same room as the course, like the best I can do is I can manipulate the content area to make it a little bit of a different experience, right? But this is not, if I was going to like design just the supplement buying experience as a whole separate thing that he would have access without having to sell it also with the course, I would love that. You know what I mean? To like just go into the supplement area and the whole room I can design that better supports purchasing supplements.
Yeah.
Right?
You potentially have the ability to design it more like I imagine order your supplements today it might look more like a store, but if you
Yes.
could have that like inside of a membership area, like I don't know what we're gonna be able to do, but if you could make it at least look like that rather than like, oh, I'm just like on another lesson.
Right. Because at this point, these lessons mean nothing to this experience, right? They're detrimental because they take away attention that is not needed. So if now I could rethink what this supplement, I love your idea of the store concept. So like I come into an area and I see my course and I see my store. And then the third thing that they had available to them was get more assistance. So this was like the upsell journey, right? Again,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them single focus, like ClickFunnels strategy, single focus. I don't want all of this other navigation, right?
Right.
And again, if you are familiar with what Dan has taught us, you can do this in 1.0, but you're still limited in this room structure. Like the best I could probably do is hide the navigation, but I can't like fundamentally rethink about the design of the experience in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like what people can start doing now is think about like how do you have it currently in 1.0? Do you wish that you could have things like they're linked but they're not necessarily all getting displayed at the same time in the same room in the same page? Like if you could just have it work in a different way, like just pretend you're in your client's shoes or customer's shoes, like what would you want the experience to be for them? And with 1.0, we are very limited out of the box ClickFunnels, but in 2.0, we're pretty much going to be able to do whatever we want. And so Andrea, you had an idea of what they should actually start to be doing, like figuring this out, right? Of like
Yeah.
how to structure things and how to
Yeah. So we were, and again, this is totally a little bit on the fly.
Yeah.
So Susan and I will keep perfecting it for you, but yeah, I mean, as you're thinking about each one of the offers, when Susan and I work with people, like the very first question you're usually get is like, what's the intended experience? Let's talk, what is the emotional intended experience of that offer? But then after you get that, when you start thinking about it's probably at a product level, not an offer level. If we, break that down in the product, what is a very rough, like first path, what we call path to mastery, which is like the steps and the milestones towards the progress and towards success, right? That as you deem it in that intended experience. And then once you have that as a general framework, then go and actually create a very, very concrete outline. And this will become really important, we think, as we get into 2.0 because of the information hierarchy that's going to be coming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I mean in 1.0 we have three levels, right? We've got membership area, which is where we are at right now on Andrea's page. We've got sections, which are the green over there in the navigation, and then within the sections we have lessons. And from there is nothing else. That is it. Those are the three levels. And so it's pretty simple to like, okay, well, this is like my constraints. This is what I have to work with to put my content into the membership area. But in 2.0, you're basically going to be able to go infinite levels deep, which is not great because that doesn't mean great customer experience. So Andrea, go ahead. You're saying like, it's going to be really important to have this outlined because if you just jump in there and start putting things in there, it can get really confusing really quickly for your people of like, oh, I don't know where that was located at.
yes, exactly. So I think that's so well said. So it's like, this 2 dimension, now you have to have this really clear, like my overview of my milestone 1, like the first thing they're trying to accomplish, right? Then from there, what's my instruction 1? What's my maybe implementation 1? So like instruction is I'm giving them the content to do the thing, right? Mm-hmm. The direction to do the thing. Then they have to implement it. So maybe there's just like 1 step to the implementation. And then in that, there's maybe like sub steps, mm-hmm. or maybe there's like multiple implementation steps of that milestone. But this general framework of like major milestone overview, give them instruction, they implement through then the tasks, and then trying to outline that product experience in that really structured outline way, I think will help tremendously when then you start to think about the navigation schema or like how you program it into 2.0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, I mean, this is, you and I both work with people in helping them with their programs, and this is kind of like what should be done anyway. But this is important even if you already have your program created. If you're like, oh, I've already got it done. It's already created. I know what, like every lesson is in there. Everything that I need them to do is in there. But you would benefit greatly from at least outlining it in this way when it comes to how it's going to be organized and structured inside of 2.0 is what we're trying to say. Because I think for like an example, this membership area that we're looking at right here on your screen, Andrea, we've got the welcome and get started is the first thing. And that, all of that stuff, you've got the welcome and getting started video that could be on its own page. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, but you want them to go to the scale of health, get an early start, and the questions during the challenge. Like you want them to also go through that. So they're, it's easy to see on here because it's like, we'll just go down the list. If you go down the list, you're going to be on track is essentially how we build them right now. Mm-hmm. But in 2.0, from what we're kind of seeing is it's not going to be just like a list to go down. It's going to be, you can have the ability to use horizontal space. You can have them be clicking onto other pages. So if you've got like a welcome page, but you're choosing to not put all of that information on that page, you're going to want to make sure that you've got things linked appropriately so they're going to be able to find their way back. Like once they have consumed all of the welcome stuff, how are they going to get to day 1? It's not necessarily going to be all displayed on the same page unless you want it to be, which I'm thinking you if you want it to be, you can, but
yeah,
but
which I wouldn't advise because especially like, this is a challenge. And so like, one of the key tenets of the challenge is I want single focus, right? Like I want them to focus on one thing at a time because I'm trying to get them baby step, right? So like even in this, I mean, again, limitation of 1.0 before I met Dan Havey, our new code, right? But like this was a drip so that it opened up, or not a drip, it was a date release. Mm-hmm. So like each one of these sections only opened up at a certain time. But again, if I were to like redesign it, I might even create that experience where it's like, it's only day one and then it shows day one is active.
Yeah.
Right. And day 2 through whatever is like grayed out.
Yeah.
And he was also selling it in a way that like some offers only got up to 14 days, some offers got 21 days. So it was a complicated build on an access level, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think just really thinking it through on how you ideally would want the experience for your people to be, and then just mapping it out for yourself, just for the sake of like your sanity when you are moving things over, that you know what your game plan is when you start moving it over, and it won't be just winging it, and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so lost in what I'm even doing.
Yes, yes. And it's kind of exciting, right? Like, I think being able to rethink about the intended experience with each of your products, not the offer level, but the product level, I think will end up, ultimately providing a better customer experience in the end. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Andrea and I both agree, like, this is all for the better. Like, we talk about like, oh, it's going to be different. Like, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of work moving over to it, but it's for the better, because her and I for a while have now been using code to manipulate ClickFunnels 1.0 so that it will do what 2.0 is going to be doing. Like, because we know that it's a better experience for our people and for our clients and their people. And so definitely don't let like the thought of like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work, I have to put a lot of thought into this. Like, don't let that scare you away from like, you're going to want to move over to 2.0, because it's going to be best for everyone involved. As you know, we're assuming at this point.
I'm remaining hopeful.
We're remaining hopeful. We are still hoping and waiting for 2.0 to get into our hands so that we can confirm some of this stuff as well.
15 days into the promise. So
I think, okay, was there anything else, Andrea?
No, I have a total geeky thought, but so Mac is making the big announcement, I think on Monday for the MacBook. I'm like watching it like a hawk. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I wonder if like ClickFunnels 2.0 maybe aligns with the Apple release. And so maybe Monday is the day.
Maybe. I mean, we are now officially halfway through October. Mm-hmm. So, well, I guess tomorrow could technically be halfway through October, but it's like, come on, people. Yeah. We need this. Right. Yeah. I'm ready to start building stuff. Okay. Anyway, okay. Awesome. I hope this was helpful for you guys watching, and please, I did, just so you know, if you didn't see it yet, I did put a poll up in the group yesterday. I think I've got it pinned, so if you go up to the announcements, you'll see it. But it's just a quick question of like, while we're all waiting for 2.0 to come out, what would you want to be learning about? A few people answered, which is what formed today's episode, because we saw that they wanted to see like, what are we doing with our clients right now? Basically the things that we just told you of like how to prepare for 2.0, or what I'm going to start doing with my clients and helping them to prepare for 2.0. So if there's something else that you're wanting us to talk about, please go and put it on the poll. Let us know in the comments on this video is fine too. Andrea, any other things?
The only thing on that is like, I think you and I are unique in that I think we can talk like big strategy and we can talk super tactical, right? Mm-hmm. So if people have questions, like, hit us up with any range of that. And I think, we have people that are participating in this group who can also really go as deep down that rabbit hole as you want to go, or as high on the strategy as you want to go. So no question is kind of too big or too small.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. We've got a range between Andrea and I and Dan, and as we bring more people into this group, like you guys in this group, you're all like very knowledgeable and experienced in your own right. So like, I think we can all help each other out too.
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. We will be back next Friday live, but look for more stuff from us throughout the week. Hopefully one of those things will be that we have access to 2.0. I'm going to keep crossing my fingers. All right. See you later, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.